Hey there, and welcome to another trip report. It's 7 p.m. right now, and I'm just arriving at Montreal's Trudeau International Airport, where I'm catching Air Canada Flight 866 to London Heathrow tonight, on board their Boeing 787-8 Dreamliner in Signature Class, which is their business class cabin on international and certain domestic routes. My flight is scheduled for departure at 10:05 p.m., with boarding set to begin at 9:25 p.m., giving me 2.5 hours to check in, clear security, and visit the lounge. It should be a pretty smooth process this evening thanks to the priority services that Air Canada offers with their international signature class tickets. Air Canada's international check-in area at Montreal Trudeau Airport is at counters 1 through 114, consisting of mostly self-serve check-in machines and automated baggage drop systems. But there are priority check-in counters along the wall towards security screening, which I have access to on a signature class ticket. The priority check-in is open to travelers in Signature, Business, Premium Economy, or Premium Rouge, to travelers with Aeroplan 25K status or higher, or to those traveling on a Latitude Economy fare. After only a 5-minute wait to see an agent, I was able to have my bags weighed and checked in, and was handed my boarding pass for tonight's flight. With a business class ticket, you receive 2 complimentary checked bags, each weighing 32 kilograms or 70 pounds. Checked baggage also receives a Star Alliance priority sticker for expedited handling. After dropping my bags, I'm off to security screening. From the priority check-in counters, it's only a short walk to the entrance of the priority security line, which I have access to on a business class ticket. The line for regular screening wasn't very long this evening, so this perk didn't save me too much time, but the peace of mind was appreciated. The whole security screening process from entering the line to exiting took about 7 minutes, and it's now 7:15 p.m. Passengers traveling on both domestic and international flights from Montreal Trudeau Airport enter through the same security screening checkpoint, but after clearing security, international passengers have to pass through an additional boarding pass checkpoint to enter the secure international departures area. Walking from the exit of security to the entrance of the area for gates 52 through 68, which are the international gates, is only a 3-minute walk, and after scanning the boarding pass for your international flight at the checkpoint, you're granted entry. The international part of the terminal is much nicer and more modern feeling, with lots of duty-free shopping, restaurants, and cafes, and generally more modern and interesting architecture than the domestic area. It is very busy though right now, as we're in peak evening rush hour, with lots of international transatlantic flights getting ready to depart. On an international business class ticket, I have access to the Air Canada International Maple Leaf Lounge near gate 52. The lounge is open to Air Canada Elite status members with 50K status or higher, along with Star Alliance Gold members and those traveling in Signature, Business, or Premium Rouge. The check-in desk for the lounge is located on the ground floor, but the lounge itself is up on the 2nd level and is accessible via either an elevator or stairs. Stepping inside, this space certainly feels much more exclusive and elegant than any other Maple Leaf lounge I've visited. The wood floors and dark finishings with lots of greenery and thoughtful accent lighting make it very visually appealing. It's quite a large lounge, with the bar, buffet counters, and main dining area close to the entrance, and lots of seating segmented into different spaces spread throughout the lounge. In terms of seating, there's lots of variety with lounger chairs, couches, dining tables and chairs, and even bar-style seating. In the middle section of the lounge, just past the food counters and bar, there's a TV, couches, and more dining seating. And in the last section of the lounge towards the back, there's lots more lounger seating and couches. Huge floor-to-ceiling windows line the full length of the lounge on one side, with private pod-like rooms facing the windows, each equipped with a lounger chair, side table, and outlets. Also in this area, there's high table seating for getting work done, and a business center-style area with printers. Behind that, there's a corridor leading to the washrooms, where you'll also find some showers, bookable at reception. I managed to find some seating towards the very back of the lounge, where there's also another coffee machine and selection of soft drinks and bottled water, in addition to the main food area. Each of these seats is equipped with a side table and charging ports. Now that I'm settled, let's go check out the food. The food offering in this lounge consists of some buffet-style items, in addition to a cook-to-order counter with a limited selection. At the cook-to-order counter, we have roast beef sandwiches with horseradish dressing, pork belly or Thai chicken curry served on rice, and vegetarian penne pasta. On the buffet this evening, we have a selection of salads and dips, as well as baked sweet potato wedges, chicken skewers, broccoli, and minestrone soup. On the back wall, there are more savory dips, chocolate chip cookies, and brownies, along with a coffee and tea station, soft drink dispenser, beer on tap, and bottled juice and water. Wine and other spirits are available at the bar. I chose the Thai chicken curry and then went back for a plate of pork belly and rice after. Both were good, but the pork belly was truly incredible. It was served in a sweet soya-type sauce and was so good. I also grabbed a couple brownies for dessert, which were tasty, and sampled the sweet potato wedges, which were fine. After feasting and spending a good 2 hours relaxing in the lounge, it's 9:15 p.m. now, and I'm heading down to the gate. Overall, this is easily one of my favorite Maple Leaf lounges, with great ambiance and a good food offering. My flight's been assigned gate 58 for departure this evening, which is about a 5-minute walk from the lounge. Arriving at the gate, it's quite a large gate area with lots of dedicated seating, and no other gates nearby that it has to share seat space with. It's already very busy, as we're about 5 minutes away from scheduled boarding time. Just as I arrived at the gate, our aircraft was being towed in from the domestic section of the terminal after its arrival from Toronto earlier this afternoon. For tonight's flight across the Atlantic, I'll be on board this 8.5-year-old Boeing 787-8 Dreamliner that was delivered new to Air Canada in June 2014, and was just the second Boeing 787 that they took delivery of. They now have 8 Boeing 787-8s in their fleet, with an additional 29 of the longer Boeing 787-9 and a further 3 on order. Since the aircraft was late being towed over, boarding has been delayed about 40 minutes while they finish up preparing the cabin. Air Canada boards their aircraft by zone number, with Zone 1 for business class and Aeroplan Super Elite members, Zone 2 for premium economy and all other Aeroplan Elite status members, and Zones 3 and up for economy passengers without status. At 10:05 p.m., boarding for Zone 1 finally got underway. Stepping on board the aircraft, to the left we have the business class cabin, which consists of 20 lie-flat pod-style seats in a 1-2-1 seating configuration. To the right we have the premium economy cabin, which consists of 21 recliner seats in a 2-3-2 seating configuration. And behind that we have economy class, which consists of 214 standard seats in a 3-3-3 seating configuration. Crossing over and taking a left, I'm booked in seat 3K for tonight's flight, which is a window seat on the right side of the aircraft. These pod seats are very private, with every seat having direct aisle access and facing away from the aisle. Each seat has a personal entertainment screen, ample storage space, and the ability to go into a fully flatbed position, which we'll check out later on. For a nearly 9-year-old plane, this cabin is still looking pretty good, and feels quite modern, with sleek-looking materials from textured hard plastic to metal finishings. The business class cabin overall is quite small, with only 20 seats spread across 5 rows. The 2 seats in the center of each row face towards each other, and thus are great for people traveling together, but they also have an adjustable partition between them if you are traveling alone or don't want to talk to your traveling companion. In terms of baggage storage space in the cabin, there's a good amount of space in the large overhead bins, and also space in the seat near the footrest, though I opted to put everything in the overhead bin so I had more space to stretch out. You'll also notice that there are no overhead bins down the center of the business cabin, though there was still lots of storage space even in a fully booked cabin. Taking a look at what was provided at the seat when we boarded, on the seat itself we have a Want Les Essentials amenity kit, and a pillow, mattress pad, and blanket. The bedding looks quite comfortable, and I'll definitely be making use of it later on in the flight. Taking a look at the amenity kit and opening it up, inside we have an eye mask, earplugs, thick comfy socks, an oral hygiene kit including a toothbrush, floss pick, mini toothpaste tube, and single-serve mouthwash. We have a skincare kit with lip balm and hand cream, and we have a glasses cleaner. Also provided on the side ledge of the seat when we boarded the aircraft, we have a water bottle and a set of noise-canceling headphones for use with the entertainment system. On the right side of my seat, between the seat and the windows, there's a huge ledge for placing items, though not advisable during takeoff or landing. There's a compartment hidden underneath the ledge which stores the remote control for the entertainment system, along with the headphone port for connecting to the entertainment system audio, and a USB 3.0 port and AC power outlet for charging your devices. The remote control pops out for use and is tethered to a cord. On the right side below the ledge, we have buttons for the seat recline position and a small touchscreen to control different functions of the seat. From this screen, you can control the lighting in the seat, request service from the cabin crew, and adjust various seat comfort settings. Looking first at the lighting menu, we can control the dimmer of the windows, the lighting in the seat footwell near the footrest, as well as the lighting on the overhead panel. For the two lights on the overhead panel, you can have either light on or both lights on at the same time. Also on the overhead panel, there are personal adjustable air conditioning vents with 2 vents for my seat. In the service section, you can display messages for the crew as well as call an attendant. In the comfort section, you can adjust the massage function of the seat, lumbar support, or firmness of the mattress. And in the control section, you can adjust the seat recline position and put the seat into fully flat mode. Talking about in-seat lighting again, in addition to the lighting in the footwell and on the overhead panel, there's also a small reading light on the pod sidewall that pops out for use. Directly in front of the seat, we have an 18-inch entertainment screen, which we'll check out after takeoff. Below the screen, we have the tray table for the seat with a latch on the underside that allows you to pull it out and slide it along its mounting rails. When extended, the table is very sturdy and folds out to double the size, giving you tons of surface area. There are also a couple different latch positions that you can lock the table at, depending on how far away you want it to be from you. Looking at the space underneath the entertainment screen and tray table where your legs go, there's a footrest, and as you can see, the legroom in these seats is quite impressive, as even at 5'10", I'm unable to reach the footrest when the seat is in the upright position. On the right side of the pod, there's a pocket with the provided reading materials, which include the safety information card for the Boeing 787-8, along with a couple air sickness bags. On the left side, there's another pocket which could be good for storing your book or a laptop. On the outside edge of the seat next to the aisle, there's a leather padded armrest that rises upwards at the push of a button, but is supposed to be stowed during takeoff and landing. Under this armrest is a small cubby for storing things, but it's very exposed to the aisle, so I can't imagine using it for anything other than garbage. There's also a small notch in the top of the pod sidewall for hanging a coat. After everyone had settled into their seats, the crew came through and handed out menus to each passenger for the service on tonight's flight. On tonight's overnight flight, dinner is served shortly after takeoff, followed by a light breakfast in the morning. For dinner, there's an appetizer, 4 different main meal options, and cheeses and dessert. For the main, there's braised pork cheeks with roasted vegetables, chicken and chimichurri butter with couscous, roasted cod with saffron rice, and cauliflower steak with coconut curry. They also list the recommended wine pairing with each dish. In the morning, the breakfast consists of fruit, cheeses, muesli, and a croissant. The menu also lists the beverages available, and the alcoholic beverages are included on a separate card with a selection of red and white wines available, champagne, as well as beers and other spirits. Shortly before takeoff, the flight attendant came through to check in with each passenger and ask what they'd like as their main meal. 40 minutes behind schedule, boarding is complete, and we're now pushing back from the gate.
Utilisez la bande élastique pour maintenir le masque sur votre échelle et enfilez-le. Attachez la boucle de taille et ajustez la ceinture. Pour le gonfler, tirez la languette ou encore soufflez dans le tube.
With the engines up and running, we're now taxiing over to runway 24 right for takeoff. This departure will take us out to the west side of the airport, followed by a 180-degree turn to begin our trek east towards London. It's a fairly quick flight this evening, with only 5.5 hours scheduled in the air.
Flight attendants take position for takeoff.
While we climb up to our cruising altitude and before dinner service begins, let's take a look at the entertainment system. We'll start by using the remote, which is touchscreen controlled with the buttons on the left and right sides of the screen to toggle different functions like the overhead seat lighting and the attend and call button, along with navigation buttons. The remote screen is essentially a miniature version of the larger entertainment system. Getting into the system, we'll start with a look at the on-demand content available. The system is loaded with movies, TV shows, music, audiobooks, podcasts, and games, with a good range of content available under each section. To me, the remote is the first thing I've noticed on this aircraft that's starting to show its age. It's struggling to load the graphics and is a bit slow, taking multiple taps to get the command you want. That being said, it's still easy to use, just not as fast as the newer systems on some of Air Canada's other aircraft. The entertainment screen itself is also a touchscreen and can be controlled that way as well. Continuing our tour, there's a section where you can view the food and drink options available on today's flight, though the business class menu doesn't show up. There's a section in the system where you can read about Air Canada, their network, initiatives, and fleet, with a dedicated section on the Boeing 787 Dreamliner. There's also a kids section with on-demand movies, TV shows, music, and games targeted to kids, and a section with different city guides to help you prepare for your destination. Checking out the in-flight maps, the quality is quite good, with lots of different viewing options and 3D visuals. From the bottom right corner of the main screen, you can also control the overhead reading light and attend and call button, and there's a settings menu where you can control the screen brightness, system volume, and window dimmer, as well as other functions like system language and parental control. About 15 minutes after takeoff, the cabin crew came through to each seat and pulled out the tray table, laying a tablecloth out for each passenger. Another 15 minutes later, and the meal service was brought through. With the tray, the flight attendant also offered a drink, so I opted for white wine. Looking at what we have for dinner, in the bottom left corner of the tray, we have the appetizer, which is a marinated octopus served with romesco sauce, roasted red peppers, and almonds. In the bottom right corner, we have the main dish, where I opted for the braised pork cheeks served with grainy mustard, sauerkraut, parsley potatoes, asparagus, and baby carrots. A warm bread roll and butter was served with the tray as well, and in the top right, we have a selection of cheeses which include Oka, cheddar, and brie, along with some grapes, apple slices, and Melba toast. And finally, in the top left, we have chocolate hazelnut cake for dessert. Having a chat with one of the flight attendants, he mentioned to me that the business class dinner service on this flight is considered an express service, so all the items are brought together on one tray as opposed to one course at a time to help speed up the process so that passengers can get to sleep more quickly, given how late this flight's departure is from Montreal. On the earlier Montreal to London flights, such as the 7 p.m. departure, the service is longer, with each course being brought out individually. Starting with the octopus, it was very tasty, and the romesco sauce and squeeze of lemon give it lots of flavor. As I finished up my appetizer, the flight attendant passed back through the cabin and offered an extra bread roll to each passenger, which was a nice gesture. Overall, the service so far has been phenomenal. Moving on to the pork, this was really tasty, and I'm very happy with my choice. The meat was incredibly tender, literally falling apart as I ate it. The sauce it was served in had a nice tanginess, and the vegetables were flavorful and well cooked. After dinner, I'm now onto the cheese plate. And finally, on to dessert, which was super moist and tasty. Overall, a really lovely meal. It's exactly midnight now, and I've just finished dinner, less than 1 hour since takeoff. Taking a walk to the back of the business class cabin, most people are still awake, with the cabin lights still not dimmed the whole way as the dinner service continues to wrap up. Behind the business cabin, there's the mid-section entry door where we boarded the aircraft, and the premium economy galley, where you'll also find 2 lavatories, with another lavatory at the front of the business cabin as well. Stepping inside the lavatory here, it's surprisingly small for business class, as I know that on the longer Boeing 787-9, the lavatories between business and premium are quite large. It's still quite nice, with lots of bright lighting and even a window to outside. The faucet is motion controlled with buttons to adjust the temperature, and soaps and hand lotions are provided as well. Heading back to my seat, the cabin lights are dim now for the night. When the flight attendant collected my dinner tray, he offered me coffee or tea, and I opted for the tea, which he brought by while I was up. He also left another water bottle as well. While sipping on my tea, let's get ready for bed. To start, we'll put the seat into lie-flat position. You can see that the bed slides nicely under the tray table and entertainment screen, making it possible for you to lie fully flat. With the bed in lie-flat mode, next we'll lay down the mattress pad, blanket, and pillow. At 5'10", I fit really nicely into this seat, and it doesn't feel cramped at all. If you like sleeping on your side, however, that can be a bit difficult, but is still doable as that's how I spent the night. Turning off the in-seat lighting and entertainment screen, we've got 4 hours to go before landing. After 3 hours of relatively comfortable sleep, the cabin lights are coming back on with about an hour to go before landing. You can see that there are 2 baskets of snacks at the front of the cabin, which the flight attendants put out midway through the flight for any passengers feeling a bit peckish. The snacks included chips and chocolate bars. About 5 minutes after the cabin lights came on, the flight attendants passed through with the breakfast service. There were no choices when it came to this meal, with every passenger offered the same tray of fresh fruit, cheeses and Melba toast, muesli, and a croissant. The tray was also served with butter and jam, and a set of cutlery in a cloth napkin. Drinks were also offered with the meal, and I opted for an orange juice. Overall, this meal was fine, nothing terribly special. The fruit wasn't very fresh tasting and was quite sour. The muesli was bland, and I was disappointed that the croissant was provided in a plastic bag. I feel like this is likely carryover from COVID protocols, but it would be much nicer if offered warm. With the breakfast service finished, we have another 40 minutes to go before landing. Playing around with the windows a bit, the windows on the 787 are huge compared to other aircraft in its class, and they're equipped with dimmer technology instead of pull-down window shades. The dimmer has 5 different levels and can be controlled by buttons under each window, from the side ledge control panel, or from the entertainment screen. Getting ready for landing, it's time to put the seat back upright again. About 20 minutes before landing, the cabin crew passed through to collect the over-ear noise-canceling headsets, but offered earbuds to use instead for the remainder of the flight. Our approach to Heathrow's runway 27 left this morning is taking us to the east side of the airport, followed by a long 180-degree turn to line up with the runway. This approach also gives us some great views of downtown London and the Thames. After touchdown at London's Heathrow Airport at 9:43 a.m. local time, we're now taxiing over to our parking stand on the airport's Terminal 2. Terminal 2 is used by Air Canada and all other Star Alliance carriers, which makes connecting at Heathrow within the Star Alliance network quite easy, as you don't have to transfer terminals. On the gate at 9:50 a.m., only 15 minutes behind schedule, which is quite impressive given our 1-hour delay leaving Montreal. My next stop after disembarking is passport control, followed by baggage claim, and then customs. After customs, another perk of flying Air Canada Signature Class into London Heathrow is that passengers have access to the Arrivals Lounge, so we'll check that out before heading into the city. We parked at Terminal 2's Building 2B this morning, so we have to pass through the underground tunnel to get to the main building 2A, where passport control and the exit are. The signage in Heathrow's T2 does a really nice job of mapping out the arrivals process, which helps make it super clear on what steps you have to take and where to go. The lines for passport control this morning weren't too bad, and in total the process took 15 minutes. Stepping into the baggage claim hall, bags from my flight will be arriving on belt number 8. About 10 minutes after arriving at the belt, my bags were delivered and I'm ready to exit through customs. The arrivals lounge is open to arriving business class passengers on Air Canada and United Airlines flights, as well as to Aeroplan Super Elite members. Stepping inside, at the reception desk, they scanned my boarding pass and then offered to take my luggage, which I accepted. The receptionist also asked if I'd like to take a shower, as there are shower facilities towards the back. Heading inside, it's not a huge space and was quite quiet this morning. There are dining tables and chairs, high tables with seating, and lounger-style chairs as well. The lounger chairs each have a side table and access to power outlets and USB charging. Taking a look at the food selection, it's very impressive. There are smoothies, yogurt parfaits, muesli, green salads, and fruit salads, all of which are chilled. Under the heat lamp, there are fresh croissants, cinnamon rolls, and danishes, and there are also muffins, brownies, and flapjacks offered as well. There are coffee and tea machines, and a selection of juices, water, and fresh fruit, and fridges with more canned drinks and water. There's also a station for toasting bread or bagels, along with assorted spreads. I opted for a fruit Danish and an apple and blueberry Bircher muesli, both of which were very tasty. Overall, a really fantastic food offering and a nice space to relax after your flight and before heading into the city. Thanks for joining me for this trip report, and I hope you've enjoyed it. Overall, the pod seat itself was very private and spacious, and lie flat mode was great for sleeping. The service on board was phenomenal and incredibly attentive, and the priority services that Air Canada offers on their signature class tickets, especially the Maple Leaf and Arrivals Lounge access, make for a very relaxing and pleasant experience. For the price tag, I would have liked to see a better breakfast offering on board, but access to the Arrivals Lounge at Heathrow certainly made up for that.